Canadian Glen Assoun always maintained his innocence after spending nearly 17 years behind bars for a crime he did not commit. Earlier this year, his conviction was overturned after his lawyers submitted new material to the federal justice minister. And today, the evidence that ultimately set Glen free will be released to the public. Phil Campbell, the lawyer acting for Glen on behalf of Innocence Canada, joins us this morning. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on the success that you've had thus far. What made you take Glen's case after his appeal was rejected in 2006?
You know, his lawyer at the time, and now my co-counsel, came to me one day and he said, I want to tell you about this case. And he said there were 5 witnesses in it, 5 witnesses who each one way or another ostensibly proved that Glen committed this murder. And I thought, well, 5's a pretty big number if the conviction's been returned by a jury and upheld on appeal. And then I started to look at the witnesses one by one, and the whole thing just kind of crumbled. We went deeper and deeper, and the Crown case got worse and worse. And finally, we turned it over to the Minister of Justice.
Well, Phil, we're going to be talking a lot about these documents that we can't show or speak of publicly right now until the information is released. But this is really the central to overturning the case. Talk to me about the process that you went through to get this new evidence.
So we started off with just basic investigation that really should have been done in 1995 to 1998. And we re-interviewed a number of witnesses. We found some new witnesses. We started looking at an alternative suspect who we think is a pretty good candidate for having committed this crime. And we got affidavits, we got other documentation, and we turned it over to the Criminal Conviction Review Group of the Ministry of Justice, the Department of Justice. And they conducted their own investigation and eventually produced a report, the report that's going to be released today. And that report yielded a bunch more evidence that we didn't have. And Glen Assoun got let out of jail in 2014. The investigation continued, and the Minister of Justice found a miscarriage of justice at the end of February of this year. And Glen was acquitted the next day.
Phil, your client says that he wants a public inquiry to determine what led to his wrongful conviction back in 1999. What do you think could come from something like that? And do you think that an inquiry like this will help make your client whole again after having 17 years stolen from his life?
Yeah, to the last part, nothing can make him whole again. He is damaged and diminished. He's broken, is the word he's used to describe himself. I hope he's only battered and not broken, but he requires accountability. He requires being able to tell his story, which he will be able to do after today. And he requires compensation, although you can never replace some of the best years of your life with money. The value of a public inquiry would be to answer some questions that are not yet answered. Mark Green, counsel for the Minister of Justice, who did the internal investigation at the ministry, put some very obvious questions to people who have to be held accountable, and they didn't answer them. If they did answer them, we might not need a public inquiry. We could just write a magazine article or bring somebody on TV. But as matters stand, there are serious issues of malfeasance and accountability, and they have to be addressed.
Well, Phil Campbell, to you and your team who have righted a terrible wrong, we thank you, we congratulate you, we wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Ben.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.